We're on.
Perfect. Well, Derek, again, on behalf of, I didn't introduce myself off camera, but I'm John Paris. I'm the chairman of the Asian American Group's Endorsement Committee. And on behalf of all 9 members of us here tonight, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to spend a few moments answering some of our questions. I believe off camera we said there would be 8 questions per person, so we hope that you have more water than that in that glass there.
Yeah, tough. But thank all of you as well for being here. I appreciate your time.
So for those who are watching this potentially online, this is Derek Uehara. Is that how you pronounce your last name?
It's with a double O, so Uehara.
Uehara, who is running for the Ward 4 race in Henderson. It is a citywide race, so even if an individual does not live in the confines of Ward 4, they can still vote in this particular race. That having been said, Derek, as we discussed very briefly, the Asian American Group has been in existence for almost 20 years. We've been doing panel-style interviews for approximately the last 7. What we do for the interview process, for the endorsement process is after the interviews, the panel gets together, we deliberate, and we make endorsements on not only the primary, but also for purposes of the general election once that comes to pass. When we make our endorsements, not only do we inform the individuals, such as the candidates and their campaign managers and people of that nature, but we also do a couple other things. First, we email it out to the various email lists that we have on the combined dais, definitely several thousand email addresses. Also, this year we're getting some ad space donated to us in various Asian periodicals throughout the valley.
Nice.
So we're essentially going to print up almost like a slate card and say, hey, the Asian American Group is endorsing the following people in the following races, please vote, and if you're not certain who to vote for, please, use our endorsements however you see fit. So, since this is the makeup interview, we will be sending out our endorsements probably this weekend. We have a few more interviews to take care of tonight. Unfortunately, due to my mistake, you were not informed of the original interview schedule this past Saturday. And I apologize to you off camera, and I will do so on camera. That was completely my fault.
No problem. I know those things happen.
So, that having been said, now that you know a little bit about us, we are here to learn a little bit about you.
Okay.
Derek, why have you decided to run for this particular race at this particular time?
I'm a business owner. I own a financial planning practice. So on a daily basis, I'm dealing with the challenges that come with running a business. There are many freedoms that come with owning a business, but you also deal with a lot of taxes and fees. So that comes kind of at a steady rate. So as I'm dealing with the business challenges, recently in Henderson there's been talk about property tax increases. And I've been in touch and interaction with many other people in the community. And it's interesting to see they have the same sense of frustration. You go through your day, you're trying to take care of business, and this is just one more expense to take care of. And as I've spoken with residents, it seems like we always end up at the question, the ultimate question, which is, well, what are we going to do about it? And after having a number of those conversations, it kind of dawned on me, you know what, we can do something about that. And that's why I chose to get involved with this particular race at this time.
That was my first question. I don't want to handle all of the questioning because I know other people do have some and we all have quotas to meet. But I'm happy to go with the second question if nobody wants to jump in.
I have a question.
Go for it.
Me too.
Even better.
You know what? There's a low voter turnout expected,
Sure.
right? Now, how do you plan on mobilizing your people to go out and vote?
Yeah, great question. For me, the word that comes to mind is engagement. And when I think of engagement, there has to be an initiator, right? Someone has to go out and make the introduction. Someone has to go out and raise the issue in a conversation. Someone has to go out and knock on the door. So when I decided to run, part of my decision process was asking myself whether I was willing to be the initiator, to go out and bring the issue up. It's interesting that the voter turnout percentage is very low. On average, we're looking at about 10% of registered voters turn out. When I mentioned that statistic to our fellow residents, they are stunned. Absolutely, they can't believe that it's that low. So I think through this process of initiating to engage with our public, hopefully we'll get a bigger turnout. But it is a challenge, and I think hopefully this is one step that we can build on so that in subsequent elections, the participation, the voter turnout rate continues to increase.
Mimi.
My name is Mimi Morse, and when it comes to property tax increase, I live in Green Valley, and we kept the house for 14 years. We're still under the water, and they seems like enjoying increasing property taxes every chance they can get. What is your idea and thoughts for the future? If we don't have to increase the taxes, I'm sure they have to come up with some amount of money without increasing the property taxes.
Yeah, that's a great point. The number one issue in my campaign is about economic development. And it goes to my core philosophy that personal economics is where it starts for everyone. Right? If you're making money, if your business is making money, if your investments are producing income and giving you some returns, then life is good. Right? You're open to the other aspects of life. Conversely, if you're not unemployed, if you're underemployed, if your business is not making money, if your investment's not working out, nothing else really matters. Right? So with that core idea is the importance of economic development. So I want to be very aggressive in bringing additional businesses to Henderson. That'll provide us with a number of benefits. Number one, we get to expand the tax base, addressing that issue directly. Number two, we create additional jobs. And number three, we're bringing in additional potential customers and clients for people like me and maybe many of you who have businesses. Right? You have a business, we bring in a new business, they're going to need to buy a house, buy a car, right? They need legal services, financial services, etc. So that really is, I think, what we need to do as opposed to simply raising taxes. And everyone I've spoken to is against it. So I think we need to listen to what our constituency is telling us and make sure we have a solution at the same time. So that's
absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, in the city of Las Vegas, we had a recent row about the soccer stadium and pledging public monies earmarked for parks and recreation to essentially private entities. And you had, I don't want to say you personally, Henderson had a similar issue with a stadium, I believe it was in 2011, if I'm not mistaken, that was ultimately scuttled. When you are confronted with a potential investment using public funds, what kind of metrics would you focus on to make a determination if it's in your constituents' best interests in order to use those public monies towards some sort of private enterprise, such as the soccer stadium as was proposed in the city?
Well, the first thought I have in regards to, number one, I'm a sports fan. So I've seen some of the stories about stadiums built in other cities, and there's a wealth of case studies available. From what I've read, these stadiums don't make money, and they cost taxpayers tremendously. So without even going further, I would be against anything like that because the history is not very good, and it's very easy to lose money. So I think for anyone on the city council, there has to be a level of respect for the work that our residents have put into earning that money, number one. We have to be very prudent about how we spend money. So combine that with the fact that these sports arenas and stadiums have a poor track record. I wouldn't go any further. I'd be against it from the start. If we went further, I'd be looking at the fact of how much is being asked of our city to come up with. And I'd look very carefully at that. Obviously, the proponents of the stadium are enthusiastic, but with what we've seen recently, if it's such a good deal, why are they asking for all this assistance on the other end?
Well, interestingly, Henderson's loss was the city of Las Vegas' gain with respect to Zappos, and the city, I guess, for lack of a better term, incentivized Zappos to relocate to the downtown, to their old city hall, which has really revitalized the downtown area in general. What ideas do you have to try and attract something like Zappos, attracting big business, try and set up shop within Henderson to try and get those ancillary benefits that you had referenced earlier?
Well, first off, I think we have to look at what we have to offer in Henderson. We've got tremendous offering to any potential company. We've got a fabulous climate. We've got a low crime rate. We've got wonderful parks. So it's a very attractive offering to someone. Just last week, I learned about the city of Lincoln, Nebraska. And they've been very successful recently in attracting high-tech companies to Lincoln. Now, have any of you ever been to Lincoln?
Yeah.
I've driven through it, and it was a lovely, lovely town.
Lovely town. They're known for their football team, which has in the past had a great tradition with Tom Osborne and the I formation. But aside from that, people I've spoken with who have lived there said, there's not much else there, and it's very, very cold. But somehow, Lincoln is able to attract high-tech companies there. In fact, they're doing so well, they're looking at rebranding their slogan to Silicon Prairie, right, which is a play on Silicon Alley and Silicon Valley. So first off, if Lincoln, Nebraska can attract these companies, I think Henderson, Nevada should be able to attract them as well. Specifically, what we need to do is get very aggressive in going after these companies to make our presentations and to court them. From what I've heard in speaking with a number of people regarding Zappos, the first our city heard that Zappos was leaving was when Zappos publicly announced they were leaving. So what that leads me to believe was that there was no ongoing dialogue. So if we've identified, like you pointed out, Zappos is the kind of company you want to attract, just like anyone who has had a business where they have clients, and they have good clients, you got to take care of your clients. I'm in a business where I depend on my clients continuing to work with me. So you can be sure I take their concerns and their interests very seriously. I'm in touch with my clients on a very regular basis to understand if they've got any changes or any new objectives that we need to address. Likewise, that's what our city needs to do going forward. We have a great offering, number one. We need to be very aggressive in going after these companies. And once we have them, we really have to maintain that relationship on a proactive basis. It's a simple concept, but that can cost a business its future. It can cost a city its future. And we've seen it happen recently in our own backyard.
Is there a specific council or a group of people that are doing that right now for Henderson? Shouldn't there be people doing that for Henderson right now?
That's a great question. In fact, I met with the Economic Development Director just last week, and we had a wonderful conversation. Our city has 280,000 residents in our Economic Development Department, and I appreciate you leading off with that because that is a very important topic. They have 4 staffers.
What?
4 staffers. Of those 4 staffers, 2 are support staff.
Oh my God.
So we have a city that has 2 full-time people who are charged with going out and proactively attracting new business. And the number you're shaking your head. Are you surprised to hear that?
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
So, that's what we have to address. I think there's a huge opportunity in Henderson to re-examine what we're doing, re-examine the results that have been created, and strongly consider reallocating our resources. If we're going to grow, if we're going to offset the challenges that you mentioned, maybe, if we're going to focus on economic development, I don't think 2 people are going to do it. As good as they may be, they can be the very best in their field. Let me ask you this question. I don't have the answer for it. How many people do you think Lincoln, Nebraska has on their economic development team? We can leave it at that.
Interesting.
More questions? Because we can keep going all night. At least I can. One thing that confronts, all major cities, and especially Henderson, is the fact that we have disparate economic demographics throughout the city. What ideas do you have to make sure that you're balancing the objectives between economically disparate groups? Because many times the goals are going to be very distinct between the economic strata.
Another great question. I think, again, everything comes back to personal economics. Right? And if we are aggressive in bringing companies to our town, not only are we creating jobs for the people that actually conduct that type of business, but we have the multiplication effect. Right? If a company comes to town, again, they need their shirts pressed, they go to the laundromat. So they're supporting the laundromat. Right? These people work, they're busy, they may have to go to the fast food restaurant, right? Even though their doctor says you got to cut back on that. They may have to go and get the hamburger every now and then, right? So they're patronizing the other businesses, where they have the disparate economic groups. So I think by being very aggressive and focused on bringing those businesses to town, it benefits the entire community, even if it's indirect, but that's the approach that I think we need to focus on and really make a strong commitment to.
Last question that we've been asking many people for these municipal races is this. A lot of police departments have come under scrutiny as of late. You had mentioned public safety and how Henderson, and we've learned over the last few days that Henderson, I think, is one of the 5 safest cities in the country. But many police departments have come under scrutiny for some of their policies, and obviously Jefferson County comes to mind. Now, obviously, Henderson had some turnover with respect to their chief of police within the last few years. But based upon your living in Henderson for several years and your interactions with people as you've been on the campaign trail, do you feel there are any areas where public safety really needs to be looked at, or any modifications to the various policies that, again, have been criticized by many, specifically with the Henderson Police Department? Any policies that need to be looked at by the City Council as a whole?
I don't know if I have extensive knowledge about that topic. I know for myself, I have 3 dogs, and I walk them twice a day, ideally, not always, so I'm not on the campaign trail. But I try and walk them twice a day. They love going out at night, and I feel very safe at night walking with my dogs. So, that's one perspective. The other one is, the other night I was down at the Water Street Downtown Business Association meeting. And what I like about them, they're very thorough. They have a number of all the merchants there to share their experiences and concerns. They also have an assigned police officer who's there. And his job is to report on the issues that are affecting downtown. Some of what they face, they're dealing with the homeless issue. And apparently there's some food kitchens in downtown Henderson, which tends to attract the homeless. And there has been some concern about how the homeless may affect a business, right? But there also, you have to balance that with the rights of the homeless. And our officer has mentioned to the group that unless they're actually committing a crime or hurting anyone, they have rights as well. So the challenge for our community, the challenge for our merchants is really to balance that. So that's the other experience that I have in regards to our police. But I've had a good experience with them. I heard good things about what they're doing, and maybe even going further behind my initial premise of economic success is safety. Right? If you don't have safety, economic success is challenged, and you may not have that flourish as much as it could be and as it is. So I appreciate what they do, and if anything else that comes up, we should be investigating. But right now, I've heard some good things, and I have a good experience with the police.
Okay. Well, we're pretty much at our time limits. You were able to monopolize the full half hour, but we appreciate you taking time out of your evening to do that. Why don't you finish us off? Give us a 1-minute synopsis. Why should Henderson voters turn out for you personally on April 7th?
Thank you. Thank you once again, all of you, for being here. Henderson is a great city. I'm proud to live in Henderson. I take pride in living there. And so it's very important for me to be part of the process that will affect us going forward. Specifically, we're dealing with the issue of potential property tax increases. Every resident I've spoken to is against that. So as we listen to our constituents, we also have to consider what other options do we have. I've mentioned the number one priority is to focus aggressively on economic development. There are companies that are looking to grow, to expand, and to relocate. we in Henderson have that opportunity to go after them. We've talked about Lincoln, Nebraska. Hey, if Lincoln can do it, we need to take that on as a challenge. Henderson can do it. We have a much more attractive offering, certainly a warmer offering. And I think by doing that, we can create tremendous value for our entire community. We create more jobs, expand our tax base, and we create additional customers for the people that are already here. Henderson is a great city. We can continue to grow and become even better. I'm running for the Henderson City Council because I want to stand up for the interests of our residents and be very proactive in creating strong economics that will affect every aspect of our life. I want to thank our group for joining us here today, and I respectfully ask for your vote. Thank you.